Human beings naturally have a knack for control over their environment, which may include their habits, work, family and peers, social and individual lifestyle, and the system they dwell in. However, maintaining a firm control over these variables is not only difficult but impossible, and this resistance to control gives birth to frustration, a phenomena which is experienced by almost everyone on a daily basis. It can be stimulated by a traffic jam, unconducive work environment, lack of ability to communicate, conflict of ideas with co-workers or family members, hindrance in achievement of a goal, and most importantly, sense of unfairness and injustice. All these conditions yield frustration, which ultimately results in impatience. So today, in Young World, we will discuss what are the causes and repercussions of frustration and impatience and how should we deal with them. Let me introduce you to our guests. We have with us in the studios Ahmad Rashid, who's doing ACCA. We have Maha Shafkat, who's doing LLB. We have Ali Amir, who's doing BSc Economics. And we have with us Humayun Gondal, who's doing BSc in Economics and Management. A very warm welcome to all of you. Let's start today's program by allowing me to ask you all that what are those factors that actually stimulate or ignite frustration in you guys? Let's start from you.
Okay, as I'm explaining my personal side, what I just saw in the society is when I go for the job, the other person who are interviewing me, they're saying that you don't have experience. How can I have an experience if I don't get a job from them?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the main problem, that we are facing these things in our society, that we don't get the job. Like, we are educated, but we can't get those jobs. They say you have to be experienced from that particular sector. So if we can't get the jobs, how can we do that?
So basically, the thing that actually troubles you is that if you don't give me a job, from where will I get the experience?
Exactly.
That's
so
fair.
What's taking me.
What's your take on that?
Well, I personally believe that I get extremely frustrated when I see my country in shambles, Load shedding, terrorism, there's so many problems going on, and I'm just sitting there doing nothing, and I personally feel very frustrated. Then again, another problem, which is, I think, one of the biggest problems in our society is gender discrimination.
Okay.
And I think that is the most frustrating part, because being a girl, I know how hard it is to make a name in the society, and I think that's one of the most frustrating things I personally go through.
Rightly said, gender is an issue if this country makes it an issue. What are your comments?
My comment is the same. The country, the position the country is going through, there are a lot of issues to be addressed, a lot of issues to be taken care of by the government. And from our side, we should basically take these issues personally as well. We can take some initiative personally, but some issues are to be taken up with the government as well. There's the load shedding, as ma'am said, and the education system, students, youth empowerment, and other issues. They should be taken care as well.
All right.
I get very much frustrated when I see my country in this state.
So there's a lot of national scale frustration that is.
Obviously.
Let's see what Humayun has to say on this.
As Amar said that when we study in a standard school and institution, after getting the highly education from the abroad universities as well in Pakistan, and we go for the jobs in different institution organizations, and when we are rejected that you are not capable for this, after having such leadership qualities in you, and you are rejected by the person who is not that capable, he says that you are not capable for this job, then that is a big hindrance in achieving your goal.
All right, but let me be devil's advocate over here. That's rightly said, that job is an issue, but we need to accept that it is really an issue from both sides. I mean, if a company really does not have jobs, from where will it give you? Dwelling in this, recently we had this youth policy at the government. They gave you an opportunity, all of us youngsters, to start off their own businesses. And there was this mentioning of loans, and then there was vocational training. There were things like that. So what is your take on that? Do such policies really reduce the level of frustration in you guys?
Well, I personally believe it was a great step taken by our Prime Minister. The microfinance loans, the laptop schemes, the vocational trainings. I think it's the first step to progress, and by providing such incentives, I think the youth can progress very quickly. And well, I'm expecting more policies of this sort from our Prime Minister. And inshallah, I believe that everything's going to be fine in our country very soon.
I like the optimism. What do you say? Does that policy or policies like that reduce the level of frustration in you?
Yeah, they do, because they're providing a platform to students, and they're basically involving students into some or other extracurricular activities, and thus they're given easy loans for the studies, and they're given scholarships. They're given laptops. I can share my personal experience. There's some my family members. They got this laptop on the merit, honestly, and they got this laptop on the merit, and I personally believe that they couldn't afford this laptop if they had to get it personally.
True, that's very true.
That's very fine thing. If they've gotten that, this is how they can come around with the standards of the rich people, with the people who cannot afford such luxuries.
True.
They can come to their stands.
But Ali, you mentioned something very interesting, and I want your comment on it. That Ali said that once you start involving us, in some way, make us a part of the decision-making process. I guess then once you can vent all those ideas, the frustration level would come down. Like when the government proposed this scheme, they gave a period of 15 days that chip in with your ideas, your suggestions, and we would implement them. How do you take that?
Like if we get the laptops, it's really a good scheme for us. Like if we can be a globalized, we can connect to the global social media, like their websites and other things. This is really useful for us to get job. But the thing is it is useful, but it is not useful as well. Like we can't if we can know how to use, but we can't get the jobs.
No, but laptop is one thing.
Yeah.
Once the government makes you a part of the decision-making process, how do you take that? I mean, once they tell you that, come on, propose us, suggest us, give us ideas.
Yeah, this is really great option for us, for youth. Like if we know that how to work, as we guys know that how to work, as you guys are right now, we have a conference going on over in the school, Roots Youth Model United Nations right now. So we guys know how to convey the things, how to tell the people as the juniors are sitting in front of us in our conferences. We tell them that the thing is they're from the 25 different countries in one room. They're representing their countries on one topic. So the thing is that's the exposure. That's how they can reduce their frustration.
All right. So Humayun, you think that if given a platform, that reduces frustration?
I totally agree with my friend Hamad.
Thank you.
That different activities should be made for the students in the different institutions to encourage them, so that they can be obliged and they should get the exposure that they can tell about themselves, so they can make themselves something in this country. Then they can go for the goals and jobs in this.
Now, this is really good. Now, we youngsters are mostly labeled as people who can only sit and criticize. And the reason for doing this show is also to do constructive criticism. So, more on, the suggestion side, why don't you guys taking or making the most of this opportunity, sit over here and suggest the government that what steps should they take to reduce the level of frustration in you guys? Maha, what's your take on this?
I personally think they are taking the right steps, and it's just a start. And they have 5 years ahead, so I think. Yeah, but they should improve the education system in Pakistan.
True.
And there should be uniformity in education. I think that would be a great step towards progress and to reduce frustration. You see, there's this class difference that comes in, the elite schools and then the government schools.
True.
And the government school kids, they get very frustrated because of the different education systems. So I personally believe that if there's uniform education in Pakistan, the frustration level will go very down. And as Amar said about the jobs, I think if there's uniform education and you're coming out from the same degree, from the same school, I think then I don't think there will be any problem in
taking
jobs.
That's very right, and it happens both ways. Now, I myself am from the OA level stream, and when I went to the university, we were to sit with those people who were coming from FSC. It was a big difference. It took me around 6 months to mingle with them, because they consider us aliens and we consider them aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a two-way process. And because the divide is there right from the beginning. We're studying the same schools, even in these schools, We have different classrooms, we're set apart, we study different curriculum, and there's different style of education. So probably, this difference definitely does generate frustration. But then, there's more. There are around 35,000 dropouts every year in Pakistan. And we are the second nation with the largest pool of out-of-school children. How do you take that? Opportunities are there, but they're not grabbing it. What's your take on that? You.
Opportunities are there. Government is taking initiative now to provide opportunities to those students. But still, coming back to the point, okay, you can see the situation of those schools built in there.
Okay.
You can see the situation of the teachers. Those teachers are, they're not, they're just on, aa rahe hain, aaram se wajah se aa rahe hain, and they're coming in and they're going out. They don't take the pain of the students. They know, because there's no check. They're the government employees, and there's no such check and balance on those teachers, those principals, and so are the students are free. Because that age, the young age, this age is basically when you grow up and you're learning, and when you get attention from anyone, it's a personal, everybody is individual basically stance. When you get when you get this attention from people, okay, you try to cope up with everything. You try to.
So basically, you're referring to a conducive environment. You give them a conducive environment, and they'll come. But then this happens over here as well. Don't you think we people generally have a problem? We lack in taking initiative of doing things ourselves. Before the show, you were mentioning about that school you used to visit.
Master Youth
School, who sits outside
yes.
under a tree and teach people. And people come. Now, obviously, those students who are coming there, it's an initiative taken by them on a personal level. We should not completely criticize the other side. Let's take some part of the blame on us as well.
I'd like to
share that experience.
No, first of all, I'd like to disagree with you on that.
Okay.
That about the opportunities, you see, when you go to a school, you're going there to learn in a good environment. But over here, there are so many ghost schools. Children go, there are no teachers. I mean, what do you expect them to do then? When there are no teachers, they'll just drop out. I mean, they're just wasting their time. And some of the teachers, they're not even qualified enough.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest reasons why children, they drop out of school. I mean, look at the elite schools. How many children drop out in these schools?
True.
They don't. I mean, hardly 1 or 2% or even less. But if you go to the other side, exactly, compare the number, hundreds of children, they drop out. Another thing that comes in is corporal punishment. And you see, in such schools, there's no check. Teachers, they go and hit the students. And I think that's like the worst way of treating a student. I mean, he would run away from learning, from school, from teachers, from books. So, we need to also take a step towards training our teachers here.
Exactly, that's the initiative I would now want to talk about.
Yes.
That's very true, and I cannot disagree with this. It's something rampant in Pakistan. But then we, the youngsters, why don't we take the lead? There is a big issue of awareness. Obviously, those students who are being beaten up, they would be frustrated and they would hate to study, because then for them it's an amalgamation. The beating and education, it's a mixture for them.
Yeah.
They say that if you have to study with the stick.
True.
But then we, the educated lot, the one who are more aware, why can't we plant that seed of change? And why don't we start generating that awareness for everybody? You want to say something, Humayun?
Yes, I totally disagree with Maha.
Okay, great. Disagreements and agreements.
Yeah,
right.
That these all are rumors. These all are rumors.
Oh.
Our government schools are really good and all. Just the lack in them are that they do not have the extracurricular activities. They don't have the exposure. They have qualified teachers.
Have you gone to a government school?
Yeah.
Here I have an argument with Humayun.
I'd like to disagree here.
I like your optimism and I like the support, but then I don't know. I mean,
I'd like to say something. I think the youth of today, people like us who are in good schools and everything, I think we are taking some steps. There are community service societies in every school. I've been to so many schools, and I've personally been a part of a community service society. We've been working with Master Youth School. He works near Kosar, and he has a school where all the children from all the colonies and all the places in Islamabad where children, they cannot afford to go to proper schools. They come to the school, they sit down in a park, and this guy, Master Ayub, he comes and teaches them free of cost.
True.
And not only that, like every year we go there in summers when we have our vacations, we go there and we teach those kids too. And not
That's
just
an excellent
and not
initiative.
just
This is what
Master
I'm referring
Ayub.
to.
There
Okay.
are other schools near F11 and G11, all over Islamabad. There are such schools where children from slums come in, and people from A level, from O levels, the people who are part of the community services society, they go there and they personally teach those kids when they're having vacations. So you see, they share their personal experiences. Not only this, they even have extracurricular activities. Like I personally was part of a talent show we organized for them.
All right.
Yes,
That's
so you
interesting.
see, I believe that the youth of today, they're not just sitting down hand in hand. They are working as hard as they can.
So this is really optimistic.
Of course.
Indeed, this is very true that education and frustration are quite interlinked, because education provides you an insight and helps you find solutions to your frustration. But then this is not the only thing that frustrates us. I mean, talking in general, being a part of Pakistani society, living in a social system, lack of civic sense also causes a lot of frustration. If you stopped at a signal and another car just passes by, you do feel bad. If I'm stopping and if I'm giving time, why isn't he staying? A lot of other things. Somebody spits on the road, things like that. There's wall shocking. There's this loud music. I mean, there's a huge list of lackings when it comes to civic sense. How do you take that? How much does that frustrate you, a youngster like you?
Yeah, actually, these things really frustrate us, as you just mentioned that about that we can what we can do to reduce these things, like media can do the things that they can tell on the television not to spit on the road, and
Tell them.
Yeah,
you have the camera.
Yeah, these are the points. Like we have to tell them that we cannot like just say that we need jobs, give us jobs. We need jobs. We are qualified. We need jobs. We have to be educated. We have to be well mannered as well for that things. Right? Or really, we get frustrated from that things as well. Like if we are on a motorway, if someone stops us, right, and they'll just say that you are over speed, and the other car running on along with us is at more speed than us.
Right.
Then obviously we'll get frustrated. That why you are stopping us?
But do you get frustrated when they stop you and you're really over speeding? Do you get frustrated? Be honest.
No.
That's very good. This is the answer to all this, that if justice is being done and justice is visible, it itself reduces, frustration. He mentioned motorway. It's really interesting, the same people driving on GT road and within the cities, they damn care for all the rules and regulations. The moment they shift on to the motorway, peaceful, calm people, they're relaxed, and I guess we should give credit to the motorway police for this as well. You want to say something? And yes, Mia Muhammad Nawaz Sharif did that.
I do. I mean, it's a big accomplishment of Mia Muhammad Nawaz Sharif, the motorway. I think infrastructure is a very important part of, progress of a country. And over there, the police, I think they're doing a great job over there, you see.
How do you relate that to frustration?
You see, when there are no rules at a place and people are just doing whatever they want, I think that's very frustrating. But when there are rules and you are made to follow them, I think the people who are used to breaking rules, they will be extremely frustrated. But I think, you'll get used to it. The next time, once you break the rule and you will be frustrated, the next time, you'll be careful yourself. And I think I think nothing is better than that. From the next time you have learned something. Next time you will not overspeed, or you will not throw the thing, because you'll be fined or you will be stopped. So I think it's a very good
And
thing.
obviously, prevention is better
Yeah,
than cure,
of
for
course.
that matter. Taking it to another dimension, pretty linked. Whenever we Pakistanis, we shift into another society, into another culture, we change, we evolve. Humans do generally. You were mentioning about this job issues. Let me throw you a question. When youngsters from Pakistan, educated youngsters, they go to foreign countries, they do those blue collar, those little jobs, probably serving at a restaurant, cleaning up, doing small jobs. But here it's a matter of prestige. So instead of sitting home and being frustrated, why not start off and get experience from those low jobs, if I would say, for that matter? What's your take on that?
Basically, it's a have the man's ego in Pakistan, basically. Everybody is, you know, they'll be like, why do we go for these such low class jobs? It's the class system, the protocol system. I personally think sometimes that Pakistan's basically issue is not corruption, is not education, is not load shedding, is not economy.
What is it? Tell me.
It's basically protocol system, this VIP culture. And every single person, honestly, every single person. I personally sometimes think, yaar, road ke upar this minister is going with 2 cars, aage piche. I should also go. I should also have a squad car in between. I have to work that way. I have to, you know. Everybody wants to cope up to that level, cope up to be, you know, to have that protocol in life, that everybody salutes him. So that's the culture which is destroying us, and that is why we can't stand lower.
Right. So, if you frame it, probably you're referring to discrimination at a larger scale at every level. Protocol is one thing, but then this country offers you discrimination at all levels. There's religious discrimination, there's gender discrimination, as you mentioned. There's a lot of discrimination, and that really yields frustration. Now, have you ever been a victim of any sort of discrimination?
Yeah, if you say that, yeah, that was been in the when we say that Amar mentioned that about the motorway police. When we are fined, actually that is right. When we are fined, when we are fined on the motorway on overspeeding and everything, I get frustrated. I should not.
You get frustrated for being fined, but then you accept it that you should not.
I accepted that I did wrong.
That's positive.
That's positive. And when we are fined for that, and then we learn by this. We won't do it again. That's the thing. If you learn, if you do not do it again, that's the thing. And that make your country to develop and make your country more equipped.
So probably law and justice is also an answer to discrimination. Before we move on to another dimension, let me come on to gender discrimination, and I want your comment on that, because this generates a lot of frustration, and it should generate a lot of frustration. You know, if a woman is passing by and people are ogling at her, this should frustrate her, and she's right on that. So, have you been ever a victim of this, and does that affect you?
I think that is not a big issue in Pakistan anymore. The bigger issue is that I think the men in Pakistan, they're having this ego issues, and when they see women in power or women on top, I think they can't really take it very positively. I mean, I've experienced it personally. I am the first Secretary General, female Secretary General of my own, the youth conference we're organizing and which is going on right now. And I have had issues myself. I mean, being a woman, I think it was very hard for me to cope up. But
he's smiling at you now.
Yes, of course. I mean, being a woman, I mean, I know how many people are after my post. So, you see, I personally know that it's like the most frustrating thing ever.
But come on, let's be a little fair. You know, being after your post is something that really is not...
Let me tell you another thing.
Okay, links to the gender issue.
Let me tell you another thing. You see...
something more profound this time.
You see, when there's a woman in the office, let's take the workplace as an example. I think men, they even have this very big problem, and there's a female boss over them. And not only, let's talk about
chauvinism.
Not only gender discrimination, but even if there's someone younger than you, above you, or if there's someone, you know, from another nationality, another race, there's a lot of discrimination even in the workplace. And you see, you feel that the person is not good enough. I think, you know, you're supposed to respect the fact, and it's very frustrating when you have to go through these issues. And especially gender discrimination, you know, and this is Pakistan, and in Pakistan there's a lot of male chauvinism in the society. And but I think now women, they're really standing up.
Is changing now?
I think, yes, of course, the trend is changing.
I hope we are offering you the sort of respect you...
The trend is changing. The trend is changing, of course, but there are still exceptions.
Okay. So Maha gets the highest time to talk in this show. Coming on to you now, you know, discrimination with reference to men, and as she mentioned, you know, this age discrimination. If you are young and you're sitting at a post, people don't accept you. And this happens to you as well. You don't have the required experience. This is how they put it. What are the feelings, you know, when people are just criticizing you or not accepting you because you are young?
Yeah.
How does it feel?
It feels like really frustrated as regarding that topic. Like, Obviously, like if a youngster who is a young, who is not that much of caliber, who is sitting next to you and say that you are not of that much caliber, you can't be on that seat. Obviously, this frustrates a lot to the person who, like, if I did my ACCA completed, and if the person who is interviewing me is from the, like, he only have a BCom degree. So I have an international degree. Yeah, I have an international degree. So he says you are not of that caliber. We can't hire you. Obviously, it will frustrate me.
But then answer my other question, which none of you answered, that when students like youngsters like us, qualified youngsters like us, when we go to countries like UK or US or any other foreign country, we are ready to accept any job that comes at us.
Yeah, because
we
they
take
pay us-
prestige and protocol. But why can't that change now when so many other things are changing in this country? Why can't youngsters like us start small?
Yeah, we can start small if the government pays us that much amount, which we are getting from another country.
That will make her happy because the government has already proposed that.
Yeah, the government proposed
Alright.
that alone.
Now, let's mix it. Now, the government has proposed this, you want this, and you also mentioned that we want acknowledgement. So don't you think this is high time in Pakistan that
Exactly.
yes, we are being acknowledged? Because this recent election, it depicted or manifested the power of youth.
Yes.
All the
Yes.
political campaigns addressed to youngsters. So I guess it is high time that this country has acknowledged what we are and what we mean to this country. Now it's our time, it's our turn to respond, to pay back. What's your take on this, Ali?
See, people, basically youth wants to get involved in some activities,
Okay.
and then people don't know how to act, what to do in their summer vacations. They think they're free, and so they get into some negative things, like they go out for cafes, they go out for shisha, they go out for smoking, they go out for parties. They are not doing something which is,
We are
learning.
not doing something.
We are not basically, which is basically for you can gain something with it.
Okay. Maha has a disagreement. And why was that head nodding there?
Well, you see, I think there are a lot of opportunities. It's on the discretion of the individual himself. I mean, I have seen there are people who are doing a lot of community services work in the summer vacations. And then there's that part of our youth which is just going and partying like crazy. Yeah.
There's a lower scale. You can
Yeah.
compare both of them.
They're
There are
both-
people who are working, who are
But
who
the party
basically-
creatures are more in this
Yes,
jungle.
yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah,
I
more in
mean,
this. The more people are going to the negative side.
But I personally feel
I'm
there
not
are
pretty
opportunities.
satisfied with what you guys are saying. Amayo, what's your take on this?
Then we cannot blame the government on this.
Okay, true that. I agree.
No,
They-
I'm
they-
not.
they-
I'm
no,
not blaming
they
the
are good.
government on this, but I'm just saying my point of view. People are not given, they're not acknowledged, they're not appreciated, and they're not rewarded. But mostly youth wants these three things. Really,
True. Acknowledgement,
You know,
appreciation,
honestly,
and then reward.
We are working in. We have recently a conference is going on these days. Ryman Roots Youth Model United Nation.
Okay.
It's a very large scale conference, and it's going on. It's the third day of it today,
Right.
and we are working as an organizing team there. I'm the Under Secretary General of Ryman, and we're working there. We're given award by Sir Walid. We're rewarded. We are given this opportunity to address those ambassadors sitting there.
So
We're
probably
given
the
this
point you're trying to acknowledge, place or coin over here is that if you acknowledge us, we would work.
Obviously,
Yeah.
if you give us a
But then-
recognition,
Then
give us a
suggest
reward.
that what sort of work, you mentioned summer vacation, and then there are a lot of people sitting jobless at home, just waiting for a good job. Suggest things for them. What can they do? What can we do?
Like
All of you. I want these
the new
suggestions from all
youth
of you.
policy, they have given a lot of new loans, microfinance loans, and I think you can start your own business. Start small. You see, all the biggest businesses in the world, all the multinationals, they started as little businesses.
True.
And I think if you are sitting at home and you have the skills, and our government is giving us a chance, they are providing us with microfinance loans. I think if we take this opportunity and we start our own small business, if we're not getting a job and we are skilled, I think we can reach the
But
top.
then those who do not have that business acumen in them, who
Yeah.
cannot do business, who don't want to do business, any suggestions for them?
Yeah, for sure. I'll totally disagree with Maha. Like getting a loan for 2 lakh rupees for 3 lakh rupees is not can't change the frustration thing which we are facing. If we are doing a degree for like 15 lakh, if I'm paying for a degree for 15 lakh, how, like, if I can invest that much, if I'm not educated, I don't get education for that, I don't pay for that, okay, I can do business. If I want to do a business, if I'm highly qualified, I paid for that, I have a degree, and why I can't get a job?
I disagree with you. I mean, getting a good qualification is not a justification for not doing business. You can do much better business if you are qualified.
But
you need to
this is
change
about
this
the
perception as well.
The loan is for just for 2 to 3 lakhs. It's not like you are getting a loan for 5 crores to set up
Let
a
us
business.
get our facts correct. It's not for 2 lakh, by the way.
You see, the problem
It's
lies
it's
within
between
us.
5 lakh and 20 lakh.
5 to 20.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
I
the
heard
amount,
it
and
was
you
2
can
lakhs.
start off a business.
You
No,
see?
Okay.
that is interest-free loan. It's not for
Okay.
people like you.
For students, it will be like 15 to 20 lakhs. Yeah.
It starts from 5 lakh and goes on to 20 lakh.
Okay,
You see,
that's
the
good.
problem lies within us. We think that the job is not good enough for us.
Yes.
That is the main
That's the
problem.
point I'm trying to establish.
You know, that is the main problem. We believe we have such an amazing degree. We give so much money to our schools, universities.
Yeah.
I think that is a very negative approach. We should not look at the job like it's not good enough for us. We should make the job good enough for us. That is the main thing.
That is profound. You
It
know.
Of
feels
course.
like I don't get paid that much.
Ali, would you take such an opportunity? You know, a small job to start with.
Yeah,
Despite a big degree.
I would honestly, but again, keeping the class culture in mind, you're always discriminated by your relatives. You're always discriminated by your other people around
So
you.
start changing that.
It's very hard changing. You know, basically, you have to mindset. You have to basically change the mindset of people.
How?
That's
Not
how.
not how
We
like
have
you doing
to change it.
by starting off like
But
that.
you know, that's an initiative. You can take that initiative, but honestly, it's not that easy to change this mindset. People in Pakistan, every single person, you can visit villages. Suppose there's a marriage going on, and they want to give a perfect type of dinner. They can't afford it, but they'll take loans. They'll go all beyond their limitations, and they'll give that perfect type of dinner. Why?
You see,
That's
the
also
problem,
generated.
no, the
Why
problem
they're not
is-
working in their own
The
limitations?
problem is we
They-
don't do things.
Accepted.
We don't
I
do
agree with
things
you.
for ourselves. We do things to
For
show
people.
others, to show people. I mean,
Exactly.
and the problem lies within us again. I mean,
Yeah.
if we start changing the culture, I think the whole society can change.
It's not we, it's us. We have to
So
take
if I say that, you know, show off itself is a big stimulus
Yes.
for frustration.
Yeah.
You get the show off part out.
Self-respect, actually.
How do you bring in self-respect over here?
Actually,
Elaborate.
when you were talking about the small jobs, and if I get the small job, I'll do it, and I'll make that job that much high, that I'll make myself that much high, so everyone recognize me. That's not all thing about the money. If you're getting less money and you are paid less, and people think he's working and she's working on this job and this, he's highly educated. And if we go on the other side of the business people, businessmen, then if they're poor and they cannot start a business, they're educated. And if other side we go and they're not educated, government should give the loans. Like in the last government, the ex-president, Mr. Asif Ali Zardari, started a program with Benazir Income Support Program, which supported the different poor families.
Okay.
And with them, it was not a huge amount. It was like 20 to 30,000 per month, but it was appreciated.
I'll
by
reserve
the
my
people.
comments on that, and I'll have Maha respond, and then we'll conclude the show.
I think
Okay.
just giving people money monthly is useless. I think giving them money to start off their own business is a very positive, a step. You see, when you're giving money to them and they're going to start off with their own little business, they can reach the heights. And you know, the main problem isn't this. The problem is when we'll start to put the monetary fact aside, and we'll start, you know, it's not just you. We don't work just for money. We work for job satisfaction as well.
True.
And if we're working for job satisfaction, for respect, I think money is a very minute thing over here.
It's basically the intrinsic motivation that actually
You know,
drives
it's like our wants and needs. The difference between our wants and needs. If our needs are getting fulfilled, the wants
Trust me, when
part,
the wants keep growing,
exactly.
it's fulfilled.
If they go towards the wants, then I think it's never ending. Even a person with hundreds of billions of dollars would be like, I need more. So,
True that, you know.
yes, of course.
It never gets over. Now, because we've just approached the end, now we want to conclude this program. Frustration generates something which is impatience. When you're frustrated, you get impatient. You make impatient decisions. You make impatient choices. And you also make others around you very impatient by the behavior you show them, you depict them. So at the end, I want all of you, every one of you, to share one instance where you got impatient and it negatively affected you. Let's start from you.
Let's start from the yesterday conference. We had a house party yesterday, right? And the people there who were not paid, they are getting inside for that. I was standing there on the gate, and the thing that I got frustrated is because the person who I take inside, who paid for that, we don't have the system actually. We don't have a system. He paid for that, but he can't get inside. So I got frustrated with the management, with the higher authorities, because he paid for that. He will be getting in.
And then he got impatient.
Yeah, for sure.
And then what did you do? So I'm interested in that.
I'll just sit on the side and they'll take the water. What else I can do?
Silence,
silence
impatient. So okay, that's your resort. What do you do, Maha, when you get frustrated and impatient?
When I get frustrated and impatient, it actually depends on the situation.
Okay.
Yes. So
share one.
there are times when you're frustrated and you're being very impatient. That is when you just break down. You either go very angry or you go very upset. And then there's a point when you have to you are in such a situation that you have to think at the right point. You have to take things maturely, and it all depends on the situation. But if you talk about an example,
here's an example, yeah.
I can't really think of such an example right now, but
we can come back to you.
Yeah, we can come back to me later.
Once, one of my personal experience, once I was standing in a queue in passport office, and I was standing there since morning at around 10, and it was 1 p.m. and I was in the queue and waiting for my photograph to be done and everything, and suddenly I see there's this person coming in with a person of passport official and he crosses the queue and he goes in, he gets the photograph done, he comes out, he gets the stamps done, the fingerprints done with that official person with him, and then he leaves.
Escorting him, huh?
Escorting him basically, and then he leaves. And I'm like why the hell these people are standing and he goes in directly, or इनको कोई पूछ ही नहीं रहा. Then I started shouting there. I literally screamed there, and I went out of me. Then what happened? Then what happened? The person came in. नहीं sir, he was ऊपर से phone था और कुछ था और ये था and वो था. And then it went okay.
So Humayun, do you have any?
Yeah, I have a
recent
example what happened yesterday with me.
Okay.
That there's as they said, there's a conference going on, and when I came to the campus, our campus, Roots International Schools, and I saw that most of the committees were merged together. And when I talked to my boss, and she was like that, it can be done because I'm the boss.
Do we have the boss sitting in the studio?
I can done.
Yes, you
She
do.
doesn't know how to do about that. I have some procedures from her, and that after that, some of the people came to me that this and that, we can this, you are not that, I can take you over from this, Ryman, and
then I guess you can settle down that afterwards with your boss once she's done with the show.
You see, now again the problem comes in. No, now the problem comes in. Being the female SG, people have a big problem. Then you see, you get you get criticized. People don't see your work. People just see, okay, she's a girl. This is a very big issue. I mean, I've been experiencing this personally during the whole conference.
If it is like that,
yes.
It is wrong. But
of course
trust
it's
me,
wrong.
Everybody does not think this way.
No, everybody doesn't. There are exceptions. That is what I'm talking about.
Okay, so
if
I guess
if I see the work
done,
I'll
settle it down after the show.
If I see the work done, I'll appreciate it.
Okay, please appreciate him. Thank you very much for being part of the show. It was really nice discussing this talk. On this note, let us conclude today's program. And from this talk, we derived that instead of wasting our energies in being frustrated, why not channelize them in something more constructive? So thank you very much for watching this edition of Young World. Take care and Allah Hafiz.